Hello, hello. Let me just check
Hi,
that we are live.
I guess we are. Yep,
All right. Sweet. How are you doing?
doing good.
All
How's
good
the
Still,
here,
weekend?
Tina.
sorry? I
Yeah,
didn't
all
hear
good.
that. Okay, cool. Martin, are you also in Pacific time?
No, actually, I'm in Argentina,
Oh,
so
okay.
it's 12:30.
Okay. So you're good. Only
Yeah,
Simone is half asleep.
I did have my tea, so it's all well.
Nice.
good.
Hey, Niket. Okay, we're getting more people.
Yeah,
Hey, Munaf. Alrighty. And Nakshara, you're in the office?
yes, I'm in the office today.
Nice.
Yeah, but it's quite empty today. So, like, it's nice.
Hey, Naveen. All right. Let me get started with the followers. Oh, what did I do?
Oh yeah,
Share screen. I don't know what happened. Okay, there it is.
yeah, loading.
All right. Hey, Nimisha. Hey, Nitish.
Hello.
Hey, Krishna. Always the LinkedIn folks start using the chat first. That's awesome.
Yeah, so we get to know you're visible.
Yeah.
There are
So I
many new followers.
remember. Sorry?
There are many new followers this week.
Yeah, we had a lot. That's awesome. I remember reading Regionite, Rajesh, Malor, Ashish, Bish. Oh, yeah, I remember reading that. I always have fun with this. So, Hale, Andinok, Tony. Nice to see you here, Tony. Hamiduami, Singhania, Rutuja Gupta, Trilogy, Francis Edwards. And Francis scared me. He followed my stream while I was streaming, but I forgot that I had a sound, and the sound was so loud, so it scared me a lot. And it's recorded. So, codename X86. Interesting. Monica Jaiswell. All right, awesome. Thank you all for following us. I really, really appreciate it. And we have more people in the chat. We have Ravi in the chat. Hey, Ravi. All right, awesome. So, are you all ready for this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so you all met Akshara and Simone. Martin, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, I joined MuleSoft almost more than 4 years ago. I was the engineer manager from Anypoint Studio for a while, and during the last 2 years, I joined to this journey of Anypoint Code Builder, and I'm happy to be here today. So thanks for inviting me, and hope you that I can help with the questions and the audience.
All
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Awesome. Glad to have you here. I hope you have fun. All right. Well, Akshata, Simone, you can get started.
Absolutely. Yep. I'll share my screen and we'll get started.
Do you want me to do a quick overview again? I don't know if everybody was in the first Twitch stream. Okay, so
Definitely.
just
Go
real
ahead.
quick, if you haven't seen me yet, Simone Geib, I'm the product manager for Anypoint Code Builder. And Akshata is going to show us today how you can do your first use case in Anypoint Code Builder, which is MuleSoft's next generation IDE to design, implement, test, deploy your APIs and integrations. and we are in open beta since beginning of February. If you're in the US control plan, you should see Anypoint Code Builder on your Anypoint platform homepage. You just need to follow the steps to set it up, and then you can get started right from your browser into, we call this ACB Central, which is what Akshanta is showing you right now, where you can then launch your web IDE.
Wow. Thank you, Simon.
Sure.
So taking it ahead, like if you go on the documents page, you'll be getting different use cases which you can try out. So we're going to try our first one, but it is like a bit modified, I can say. Like we are synchronizing here with Salesforce and we are using database. But in our use case, we'll be using Slack. So basically what we are doing is we are fetching data from Salesforce. We'll be checking our contacts. And if the contact exists, we'll be updating the contact if there is a need based on the data we are sending from a payload. If the contact doesn't exist, we are going to send an error message to Slack channel saying that the contact doesn't exist. All right, so let's get started. So with beginning, like to begin with, we'll be going and launching ahead our web IDE as usual. So yeah, while that takes time, if you have not attended the previous session, you can create your own web ID. You can just go into your Anypoint, as Saman said, like your account, and go ahead, try out your Anypoint Code Builder beta and to let us know. So you need to go on this mule icon of you, and then the design API, because we are going to the first step would be like designing our API. So, okay, sorry. So this is how basically the home page and everything looks like. We have seen last time as well. So let's design the API. Okay, it's taking some time. You can give your API a project name. I'll give Salesforce. Sync. Select the project location, which could be your home directory. In my case, it's my username, home username. Okay, and then the API specification language, whichever you're comfortable with. So I'm going ahead with RAML 1.0 and allow it to sign into my browser, my Anypoint platform account. Sorry. So yeah, we are logged in into Anypoint platform account, and it will create our API specification. If you can see here in the logs. So the steps we are going to follow here, like the RAML creation, it's almost going to be the RAML is almost the same, we can say. But we are like, so even you guys can give it a try and you can create your own use cases. Yeah, we have this API specification ready here. The RAML page ready. Simon, feel free to add your suggestions, advice, guide as well. They're really helpful.
Yeah, sure. So, sorry. So go ahead. I was just going to mention, so it's important to see while we are using RAML here in the demo, we are supporting OAS as well, and we may be supporting more API languages in future. And later on for the implementation, we are even supporting more than just RAML and OAS, but I'm keeping that for later so that we can show that.
Yeah. So we are going to create an endpoint update phone wherein we are like going to have a post method, which will be, so basically I have the RAML ready. I'll just copy paste it out so we can save our time and explore further like other features. So we have a post method ready in which we are going to send our request as first name, last name, and phone number. So the phone number will be the one which we want to update basically. Let's try it out. So just to give you an understanding, like this is how our API and our API implementation is like going to be. So going ahead, we'll push our changes. We'll stage our changes first. Initial commit. You can give any of your messages, sync changes, and this is going to sync my changes with Design Center. And then you can just push your changes, and you can also see these changes in the Design Center. Okay. Once we are done, go to your File Explorer, click on your YAML, and then just Command P, the palette. So in palette, you can see multiple options, which we have seen last time as well. So all we need to do is publish our API specification to Exchange. So give it a project name, artifact ID, asset version, and then the API version. So it's publishing our API specification to Exchange. We can see over here. So while that's happening, let's be a bit patient and keep our fingers crossed.
So I just wanted to add a few things. So you saw that we basically embedded the API console into Anypoint Code Builder. That's the same console that you can see in Design Center as well. And we also have the mocking server here to try out your APIs. That's a local mocking server. So you can basically test your APIs even before you have published them to Exchange. So just to make the whole use case a little bit easier.
Wow. Thank you so much. So it's asking us if we would like to implement our Salesforce contact system, implement our API basically. So yes, otherwise if you don't want to implement, you can explicitly go ahead and implement as well. It's up to you, but to make our work easier, yes, let's go ahead and implement it. We'll give it some name, Salesforce contact sync API. And the home location. Yes, okay. And while that's happening, it's scaffolding a project. So let's wait while it does its job.
So I think this is a really good improvement. A lot of you, I have heard, it's the same people who design the API and implement the API. So you don't need to like publish it, then go back to Exchange, get it from there again. You can just do the design and the implementation in one end-to-end flow. You don't have to, but it just makes it easier for you instead of doing those unnecessary steps to go back to Exchange again.
True. That's so true. And this time I'm feeling like it's much more better, but let's see, like, let's watch till the end. So it's generating a graphical flow as well as we have our XML here. So it takes some time to prepare the canvas. Meanwhile, we can just go through our flow.
Yeah, so I know that, so we did, obviously during the development of Anypoint Code Builder, we did a lot of surveys and we asked people for their opinions. And some of you we also interviewed in person, and we heard that there is a strong desire to be able to have the graphical UI and the code open at the same time so that you can work in both in parallel. And while we are adding more and more features to the graphical view, it's going to come in really handy that you will then be able to build your flow, but you can do like small tweaks in your XML and you can have them open at the same time. You don't need to like switch between them. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Akshata, do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Like we can go to whichever section of the flow we want. We don't have to like have the entire flow, everything all together at once. It's like so manageable, I feel. So suppose if I'm here, I want to like make changes to my transform. This is my method, basically the endpoint, and this is my transform message, wherein I'm going to make changes. But before that, let us come back and let us have a config file ready. So you can either have a config file in your machine and you can just drag and drop it here, or the way I prefer it, and also like I guess Simon prefers it like is we have a terminal here. You can go to our terminal, open a new terminal, and then just copy paste the config file which I have already saved in my root folder. So the root folder here would be so let me have my command. Yeah, I have my config file in the home, Debra Lakshata config.yaml, where I have my password saved, the Salesforce and Slack account details, the token, which I'll be copying it to SRC main resource. So that's the command. or you can just drag and drop from your downloads folder or wherever you have your config file. That also works. So once this is done, I'll just close this view as we already have an understanding of it. We'll go ahead. We also can test our connection. Let me, why is it so? Yeah. So it's testing a connection, and meanwhile we can have a configuration properties define our config.yaml, so we can reference this further. Once it's done, we need to configure our Salesforce configuration. And then the basic Salesforce basic connection as well, username, password, and everything. So the dependencies have been added successfully. So it is actually like in the backend, you can say it's like syncing up with your POM and everything. So yeah, it's taking care of all those things. So I need to add, along with the username password, I also need to give a token here. Okay, where is my, yeah.
And just to add, so we are bundling the most used connectors directly with Anypoint Code Builder. Salesforce obviously is one of them. That's why Akshata could just add this config without having to import the connectors. You will see later the Slack connector is not bundled, so there we go to Exchange, import it first, and then we can add the config.
Yes. So the next one is the Slack connector. We do not have it already. So what we are going to do is we are going to import the connector from Exchange. So we have MuleSoft import asset from Exchange, wherein we can import REST API, data wave library, GraphQL API, or a connector. So here I need Slack connector. Okay. Let me choose the asset name. It will give me options like MuleSoft community. So I'm just choosing the second one, MuleSoft community version, Slack. I'll pick the version, and yeah, the dependency has been added successfully. So once the dependency is added, all you need to do is like just have Slack, and you'll be automatically getting the options like Slack config and everything. So just get the config file, and then you can have Slack token connection wherein you're passing the token. So we already have the token and everything in place, which is there in our config file. Okay, I'm losing this thing. I'll just test connections for all of them. And if we just hover over it, like you get the username value as well. So that's coming from a config file, which we have mentioned over here.
So while this is verifying the connection, if you looked where Akshata said import asset from Exchange, there was a new asset type, GraphQL. So that's what I was talking about before. You can now implement GraphQL APIs in Anypoint Code Builder, not just REST APIs.
Oh, wow.
This was released with the open beta.
Actually, during the last Twitch with Anna, who was presenting how to import data with libraries, I think during this week, right?
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yes. So if you missed the Twitch stream with Anna, where she showed the use of data weave within Anypoint Code Builder, I highly recommend going back and watching the recording, because that is also new, the ability to import the data weave library and then use that while implementing your mule flow.
Amazing. Interesting. So moving ahead, like we go to our main post, update phone number, the flow. In this flow, we are going to make main changes to our transform message. Like we'll be adding our logic, the implementation logic here, wherein we are fetching the data from Salesforce, and then we are making a decision if the contact exists or not, and based on that, what changes we are going to do. So for that, I'll just delete this thing, and you can add, all you need to do is just add transform, and you'll be getting multiple options over here. So I have already, like last time we spoke about the script file, we went to preference, and we've already added the script document. Sorry, what do we call it, Simon? I think it's
Snippets.
snippets file, yeah. So the snippets file, which actually has everything pre-configured. So I have already added the snippets file as well. Or I mean, that's only for demo purpose, which helps you loading things faster. If you see the ACP demo transform message, so that's what it is. It gives me my snippet. I mean, it gives me my entire code already like pre-built, you can say. So that is how it is here. And I'll just replace this thing with the transform. Okay, yes.
I would actually go further. I would say this is not just for demos. I think snippets are really useful when you want to define like basically snippets of templates. Like my transform usually looks like this. So you put it in a snippet, then you don't have to create it every time again. And you can share snippets with your team members and you say, there's some best practices of how I define certain things. So I will share the snippets with you and everybody can reuse them and then everything follows the same best practices.
Wow, that's so cool. I mean, we didn't have this feature in our Anypoint Studio as well. So this is something
That's
new,
right.
and I'm still learning it.
Yeah, that's
And
one of the things that we actually get with VS Code, which is one of the reasons why we selected VS Code as our IDE.
wow, thanks for the information, Simon. Like, there's so much to learn.
Sure. Akshata, would you
So,
keep the flow open? You can close the Explorer on the left, but I think it would be interesting to show how the flow grows as you add in the code.
yes. I need to open this again, right? Or there is an option to view the graphical as well,
There
something
is an
similar.
option as well, yeah, but this works too.
Yeah, show mule graphical mode.
Yeah.
So I'll just go to the last one again, the transform message where we have defined 3 variables. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to query the Salesforce query. Okay. So we'll have a config here, the one which we defined. Salesforce config. All you need to do is just tab and you'll be getting like everything already defined. Okay,
You have
I
a
don't
snippet for this
have.
one too, right? Yeah.
I have a snippet for this one too. Yeah. So this is how it is. Yes, we have configured everything. Okay, let me just delete it and have the snippet itself.
In the meantime, we can highlight that one of the main differences that we will see in this product, already we will show this during the webinar previous to each, is that we are rendering the Flow UI in a vertical way. This is a difference that
Yeah.
we have in a studio, and it was a result of partnership with customers, UX research, and based on the industry, this is the way that we are solving nowadays the rendering of the Flow UI, right?
Yeah, that's a good point, Martin. One of the reasons, as Martin said, we did do user research, we worked with our UX team, but also because we have this split view, it's easier to have it by rendering the flow vertically instead of horizontally. And you will also have seen Akshata switch between flows in the flow outline list. So we're keeping the canvas cleaner by only ever showing you one flow, but it's very, very easy to switch between the different flows there in the outline list.
All you need to do is just click on that component and it will be highlighting the code for you as well. So we have now queried our Salesforce contact object where we are fetching first name. We are fetching phone number and ID based on the first name and last name. And this thing we are going to provide from our request, the post request. Okay. Once we have queried it, we'll have a choice component. So we all have choice defined in the snippet file as well, or you can use a previous choice. This is going to be the same one. So it's creating branch like if or else, like what are we going to do? So yeah, for this I actually have a snippet handy. Like if we have the payload matches, like if the phone number is not equal to null, we are going to we're going to have a data, right? We are going to have the data coming in from Salesforce, and that's when we are going to do an update. If the phone number, if there is no match or the contact doesn't exist, we are going to send a request to Slack, and Yeah, I'll just replace that with the code so we can actually understand it from graphical view as well. So if, okay,
I'm just quickly
this
going
is,
to answer this question if that's okay. Um,
yes.
So the answer is kind of yes. So we are going to have a fully functional graphical user interface, but it's not going to be drag and drop. So again, we did a lot of user research and we worked extensively with our UX team to find a better way of building your flow. I sometimes have issues with the drag and drop where I kind of like lose what I dragged and then I have to go back and drag again. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a little plus to the canvas. In between the different nodes, you click on the plus and then you can find the processor, the connector operation, and then you can add that to your flow. So the next generation, so to speak, of our UI, I will actually do a demo at TDX of how the plus works and how you can build your flow in the GUI before we release it in open beta. So hopefully if you're at TDX, come to the breakout session, come to one of the demo booths, and we will show you there. And then the next stage is going to be the configuration. So we understand the need of a graphical user interface, but we did want to give you the ability to already work with this product during open beta while we are adding the new stages.
Cool. I mean, we are all looking forward for TDX then. Okay. So moving ahead, we have like, if you can see the graphical user, and I mean, it's completely ready now. So if the phone number doesn't exist, so we are going to set the variable, the phone number, and if the phone number, if your payload is having a phone number, we are going to update the phone number back in our Salesforce and Salesforce contact object, and we're going to set the variable. We're going to return the payload. And if there is no contact as such which exists, we'll be sending a Slack message to the channel, and that's it. So let's have some breakpoints so we can also see how this thing works and how we can debug. Yeah, I think these should be enough. So let's go ahead and run and debug our application. So this is how we can debug. Yeah, this is the terminal which is open, and let's see if there are any errors or anything. While this is debugging, you can also set some variables to watch. Like for example, we are actually checking the condition, right? If payload.phone number is not equal to null, so maybe we can add this condition to watch, payload.phone of 0, or maybe some variable as well, like if you, just to see like how the data has been like changing, or how the things are taking place, what is the value and when does it change, something like that.
Excellent. So you can see this is now building locally. So we are bundling a local runtime. This is currently Mule 4.4, which is bundled with Anypoint Code Builder. And now everything is being built. It will be deployed to the local runtime and it's ready. Excellent.
Wow. So we have this tiny thing which will be helping us to debug. So you can actually select it anywhere as per your comfort. And I have already like added this Thunder client extension, which is like just like the way we have been using Postman, and we are quite familiar. But this is something which comes inbuilt with VS Code. So that it gets quite handy, because last time you guys have seen we had to set those variables and everything, which got like bit time consuming and annoying as well. So yeah, we have this thing which is like quite easy. So yeah, the postman request. So let me try with a proper data, Shta Sawant, and I'll just, sorry, click on send, and yeah, it's on this point because we have added the debugger here. So at this point, we have the variable which is coming from our payload, which we can see, but it has not yet fetched the data from Salesforce. So at the next step, at the choice, it's fetching the value as well. And yeah, let's see which flow it follows. the phone number was already up to date. So we have seen like there were 3 branches to choice. So this is like one of them. So let us make some changes to the phone number and try again. Uh, just have a watch at the variables as well as they are being changed. So it
This now
actually
updates
makes
in
you.
Salesforce, right?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
Sorry, this now goes into Salesforce to update, right?
Yeah, it will be now updating because we have changed the phone number. So it will be going ahead and updating the phone number. The first case was the phone number and the data which we are sending from Salesforce, they were same. So there was no update which was needed. And now it's going to change the phone number. The phone number has been updated. Okay. So yeah, and third use case, let's give some random name. You'll demo and see what data we get. So this is like the third one wherein the contact shouldn't be exist. I mean, shouldn't be like present in the Salesforce, and we'll be sending a message to Slack channel. So yeah, here we are. The contact doesn't exist, the third option, and it's sending a message to the Slack channel as the phone payload.phone is null. Okay. Yeah, it's setting some variable and cool, contact doesn't exist. So let me check my Slack as well. Okay, yeah, it has sent some message. If you can see a view. So here is it, like at 4:1, Mule demo, the name, it's basically joining the first name, last name, and contact doesn't exist. So yeah, that worked.
Nice. Yeah.
Cool.
So I did want to add that, as I mentioned before, we are adding more and more to the UI and stages. And obviously the goal is as well that once we have the full flow UI, that you will be able to debug in the UI and not only in the XML.
In the meantime, I would love to capture one question from Rakesh. The question is about removing the doc ID from the XML. And luckily, the doc ID is still in the XML. It is required to identify the node in the XML and to process the metadata and for data sense purposes. So if it is not defined by the user, we are defining ones automatically, so we can identify the node and process the metadata through the flow and show in the data sense panel. Actually, as was mentioned, Anna during her presentation, I think during this week, she took some time presenting data science, how it works. So I will encourage you to look at this. It was actually an awesome presentation.
Thank you,
Cool, yeah.
Martin.
Thank you, Martin. So going ahead with the next, yeah, sorry, Simon.
Sorry, no, I just wanted to add something really small. We did add doc name to some of the nodes that didn't have it before. For example, in the choice, could you open the last flow again?
Yes.
So you can see
So-
in the choice that in the different branches of the choice, instead of just seeing the expression there in the graphical user interface, you can now add a doc name to those as well. So this was a pet peeve of mine, like just seeing the expression in the UI is pretty meaningless for somebody who wants to look at the flow. So we added doc names to those as well to make it cleaner.
Okay. I guess that's it. We'll just deploy this thing to Cloud App and see how it works with Cloud App as well.
Great.
Cool. So to deploy, we need to be here. We need to be clicking this, and we have this function already. Deploy to Cloud Hub. Configuration file not found, so it will create one. Cool.
Just a
So the
small
SaaS,
addition that, sorry, Akshata, for interrupting. Nowadays, there's this notification that creating this configuration file is required. In the upcoming versions of ACB, we will see that this is created by default. And actually, this configuration file is where we define all of the properties to deploy in CloudHub, right?
cool. Yeah. So basically, here we are going to define like the workers, or if anything changed, like the control plane or something, we want to have some different, right? Other than the default versions.
Yeah.
So you can choose your environment. Go ahead with Sandbox, and it's packaging the application to deploy. And while it's, I mean, it'll take some time. And
I
it's
wanted
deploying to
to
cloud.
add to. Apologies. Is it already done? Then I can wait with my comment.
No, I mean, we're happy to hear from you. It's deploying. I think it's almost deployed. So I'm just opening Anypoint platform to show the runtime manager as well. We can check from there, like how is
Okay.
the application, how is the status. Yeah. You continue, Simon.
Yeah. So as Martine said, we're having between now and between GA, we are still having releases for you. So it's not like we gave you the open beta release and this is it, and now you have to wait till GA. So we are aiming for monthly releases, and some releases will just be adding bug fixes or security fixes, but some of the monthly releases will also add new features. So you can look forward even before we go GA for us to give you new features and new enhancements to Anypoint Code Builder.
Cool. So yeah, the application is almost there, and it's like that was very quick, right? Like deploying from. So similarly, like once it's deployed, we'll be trying it out from Thunder Client, the same request, and yeah. If you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot them up while our request is ready. Let's wait for it to deploy.
Yeah. Of course, keep in mind that this is a beta product and you're not supposed to deploy to your production from Anypoint Code Builder. Small disclaimer. And it's done.
So I just have a quick question. How is the support for DevOps going to be with this? Is it going to be the usual, like we have a Mule Maven dependency in our Anypoint Studio, similar kind of thing we're going to have it here as well for
Yes.
CI/CD pipeline? Yeah.
Actually, that was one of the feedback that we gathered from the latest um, Twitch that we ran with Simon, and we are exploring. Probably it will be good for exploring that path and prepare a Twitch in the future for that.
That's nice. So let's update our phone number and say, yeah, the phone number has been updated. If we do it again, it will be like the phone number was already up to date because I haven't made any changes to this. And if we are just making changes to the name, yeah, the contact doesn't exist, and it should have sent a Slack message also. Yeah. So it's appending the first name, last name, and with this we have completed our use case, the first use case with Anypoint Code Builder. And I'm so
Wow.
happy about it.
Fast. Great job, Akshata. Really well done.
Thank you.
So did
Thanks.
any of you guys play along? Tell us in the chat.
Akshara is crying, like, yay.
I'm going to sleep tonight.
Excellent. This was really good.
Yep. Maybe
Have
we
you
can
been dreaming with Anypoint Code Builder, Akshata?
And then there's someone watching me and telling me, "Oh, Akshita, this wasn't supposed to be done."
Oops. Any
Yeah,
questions?
maybe we can take advantage and show how we can gather feedback from this period. Uh,
Yeah. Can you do me a favor, Akshata? Can you share again and go and show the landing page?
yes. Let's go to the landing page. Okay. Yes.
You stopped sharing, so you need to reshare again.
Okay, I'm sharing the screen.
Oh, I hadn't.
Okay, it's
Now I'm seeing it. Maybe it was a little bit delay. So there on the bottom left, where it says your opinion matters, there is a link to
this
our
public.
public GitHub repo. Yes, that one, please. Okay, so here, this is the GitHub repo that you can use for reporting issues, asking questions, asking for enhancements. But there was also a question if you can push your project to GitHub. Yes, so VS Code comes with a GitHub plugin. So just like, remember Akshata showed at the beginning how she pushed the API design. So in the same way, you can also push your Mule project to GitHub.
I think he means like literally this one.
This project. Okay. So
Oh, the
I think
one
we
that Akshata just built?
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know, is there a shared GitHub repo? I mean, we can
I think we
take
can,
the
yeah.
demo and we can package it up. And I guess I just need to read the exact rules. I guess I can just push it, publish it in our GitHub repo. I get back to you on that. There's always like privacy rules, but we should be able to do that.
And meanwhile, let's view our snippet file as well, because that is some, I mean, that is something which we use and which was really helpful, and also new feature, right? So
Yes.
Simon showed me yesterday, like how can we open and create, and I again forgot it. Yeah, configure user snippet, and this was a snippet file which we had. So this is having everything pre-built, like the. That's how I was able to like just tab, control tab, and then get everything like transform with variables or the Salesforce query, because it was already pre-built here. So this is something which helps, and you
Yeah,
can
you can
reuse
actually
it.
be a lot more sophisticated than I was in my snippet file. There is ways how you can have like fields with variables in them, and then you can tab through. So mine is kind of rudimentary, but you can do a lot of really cool stuff with those snippet files.
yeah, getting advantage of the auto-completions for code patterns while we are developing the lab. So actually, it's a good feature. In the
But
meantime,
how do
there's
we build this snippet file? Like, it's just, I mean, some syntax, right, which we have to follow and just
Yeah.
copy paste the code from our actual project. So it, oops. So
Yes.
this will
So
be like
this
one.
actually,
I
yeah.
mean,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
So this is documented as part of the VS Code documentation. I don't have the link handy right now, but in their documentation somewhere there is how to create a snippet file. So yeah, so I basically start with like the transform that is ready, copy it in there, and then just add like the backslash and the quotes in order to turn it into a snippet.
Okay, cool. I mean, that's a one-time job, and you're gonna like entire team is going to use it, so it's like I think worth it.
Yeah,
It makes their
yeah,
job easier.
exactly. I think I saw another question. From the design of API spec point of view, API governance could be included. So we are not currently supporting governance rules in the API design, but it's something we are looking into, and we're working with the governance team to see when we should put that on our roadmap.
Also,
This-
we can add that, as Akshata presented, she pushed their changes into the BCS. So while we are pushing those changes, we will be sync with API Designer, so we can access to API Designer, and if we need to complete governance or that kind of stuff, we can do it from there. In the
Yeah.
meantime,
Good point. And yeah, thank you, Alex, for finding the documentation for the snippets.
It was Martin, but yes.
Oh, well, thank you. Let's see, was there another question? I did want to mention as well that we have a Trailblazer topic. So while GitHub is, you should go to GitHub if you have any issues, if you have enhancement requests. But the Trailblazer topic is great, especially for the community, for us to have discussions, right? You can ask questions there. You can discuss with us. It's probably not the place where you want to say, oh, I have an issue, can you help me? Do that in GitHub. But in this topic, I think it will be great for the community where they will see the outcome as well of discussions that we're having. And I did see, I was extremely pleased and shared it with the ACB team, that some community members already have videos out there on YouTube on how to set up, on how to get started. I saw one series with, I think, like 7 videos. So could not be happier to see that the community embracing this open beta and sharing their use cases and sharing best practices and what you can do. So this is really awesome. That's why I love the MuleSoft community.
Yeah, and that's power of community, you can say.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I think it was like right after the stream that we did, they started creating the videos. That was amazing.
Yeah, it was very quick. Yeah.
Cool. Well, we still have like 13 minutes. Is there anything else that you want to try, Akshata?
Sure, I mean, if there's anything, I think we have shown most of the part. Simon, is there anything you would like me to explore? I'm sharing my screen again.
Let me think about it.
Or people in the chat, if you want to tell us what you want Akshata to try. I know
See, I didn't want to
Simone.
put you on the spot and tell you to do something that you haven't tried before. But
Simone,
can
I
try out.
know that you feel like a little bit scared of it, but that's what we do. We try to
that's
break
what you
things.
do. Okay. Let me tell you one
And
thing.
my
If you
things most of the time we break.
if you open the project again,
Yep.
go to your transform in like the third flow, the first transform.
Yes.
Somehow the screen is blurry for me now. Is that the same for everybody?
Can
Or
you
is it
maybe
just
zoom
me?
in a little bit, Akshata?
No, I mean, I don't know. I'm in the office, so I'm hoping the internet should go. Like, it should be good.
Okay, so go to the first payload.firstName
Yeah.
in the C data line. Delete first name and delete the dot. Just remove that so that you just have payload. Okay,
Okay.
and now hover over the payload, and everybody can see like that little underline. The reason why there's an underline under the payload is because we have not defined any sample data for payload.
Hello.
So there should actually be a quick fix. So this is what happens when you do things. There should be, try again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm checking for the next name, for the last name, checking for quick fixes.
There should be a quick fix coming up there. Oh, here, quick fix.
Yeah.
Click on that.
Yeah, it's checking again.
Yeah, there's a bubble in the left side close to the 147.
Oh, yeah.
That one.
Okay, create sample
So-
data. Yeah. Thanks, Martine. Okay, it's JSON. Yep. So what we're going to do is we're now going to create a sample first name. So instead of message, say first name. And then there you can put your name and replace message with first name. So this is a very simple example where we are adding sample data so that we can run a preview. Okay, so now we have this first name. Now go back to payload. You can see the underline is now gone because we have the sample data. You should now be able to autocomplete this or just type first name.
Just a moment.
Okay.
Still loading.
And now, yeah, that's fine, the loading. So now when you hover over, you should get the little yellow bubble on the left. Okay. Or go to the left, go to the where the numbers are. The run preview that you saw before should be coming up here. I don't know if Anna maybe showed this as part of her Twitch stream.
Yep, actually she presented.
Okay, so what should happen here now would be, just complete first name, and then we should get like the code action. So there's a number of different things in VS Code that are also really cool. When you saw before when Akshata did the test, the connection test, that was what we call a code lens, where the code lenses are always visible. And another thing is a code action. A code action is like that blue bubble that you saw before, which told you what to do, and a yellow bubble, which should be the code action here, where you can see now run the preview. Here it is, run preview.
Yeah. I can see this thing now.
Yeah, click on it. And at the bottom, it's run preview. So based on the sample data that we added, this will now run and give you the result. So this was obviously a very simple JSON. So normally for your sample data, the JSON or XML or whatever you use will be a lot larger, and then you can run the preview and try out.
Wow.
But again, highly recommend go and watch the Twitch stream that Anna did, where she went into a lot more detail of data sense and data weave.
We can also extract a function or something, and we can see how the value changes with function.
I think so. I've actually never tried that one. I know that's what the streams are all about, trying new things.
Yeah. Let's
do it. Do it.
Yeah, we have it here.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Let us run preview again for the function as well. It's unable to resolve the first name.
All right. So my little doggy, who has been sitting in my lap as my emotional support, is watching you now too. This is Lily.
Simone is in anxiety because you're trying new things, Akshata.
Okay, I think we're almost like 5 minutes, so we can. And we did complete the demo, so I mean, this is something like.
Yeah, this is just trying out things now.
Let's encourage you, if you want to play with data weave, and the ones who are familiar with data weave playground, the demo from Anna during this week, it was awesome, presenting what we can do nowadays in Anypoint Code Builder, presenting the code edition using data weave, quick fix, preview, import data weave from libraries, data sense, so many stuff. So it was actually awesome. So I to see it, to watch it.
So you could do one more thing, because we still have 5 minutes. You could import a data weave library.
Okay.
just to show, just import asset from Exchange. And then database library, and type in Slack.
Slack library. Oh, you can.
Yep. So just for people watching, so there is a library, a database library for Slack blocks. If you've ever heard of Slack blocks, so you saw Akshata post into Slack something like contact doesn't exist, which was just a string. But there is a kit, a block kit in Slack that helps you define a much nicer way of posting to Slack, where you can have buttons, you can have like a nice UI. But the block kit is, in my opinion, a little bit complex. So you have to build this really, really long JSON file in order to build it. And I think that's also something that Anna did on her Twitch stream. So building that JSON file by hand takes a lot of time. But if you import the database library, then it has these blocks, it has everything, those functions pre-built, which help you to make it a lot easier. So it's asked a little bit too much of Akshata now to actually use that library that she has never in her life seen before. But just for people to play with it, there's documentation that comes with it, and we can also publish an example as well.
Cool. Maybe we'll try out in some Twitch stream.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. They're really big. And if you watch Anna do it, she actually uses the Slack library. Then she runs the preview. Then she gets the JSON file, and then she does the preview of the JSON file in the block kit. So it's pretty cool.
Yep. Right, sharing the Exchange library in case you want to try it out. And there it is. All right. Well, Simone, are you gonna watch next week when random people come and start trying it without a demo?
Oh my God, my nerves. When is that going to happen?
So on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, we will have Ben Stone. And on Thursday at the same time, we will have Manik Magar. Manik is one of the best, so I think you should relax with that.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. He has been in the private beta. He has been using this. So yes. Yeah. Okay. But yes, I will come and watch for sure. So that's Thursday at 10:30 Eastern.
Yes.
Okay, so I come on Tuesday and I come on Thursday.
All right. I think the rest of the month we're still gonna have like people from the community trying it live. So we'll see how that goes.
Nice. Nice. Well, we would love to get your use cases and hear what you think. So GitHub repo, Trailblazer topic. Please do share your experiences.
All right. Awesome. How do you feel, Simone? You can sleep now. Akshara can sleep now.
No, I think Akshata did an amazing job. Really, congrats.
Thank you.
Yay.
I mean, there was so much to learn from you.
All right. Awesome.
Okay.
Well, for everyone watching, remember to follow us in twitch.tv/MuleSoft_community. Why there? Because you can see all of the previous recordings there, including live streams like Dreamforce, TDX, and so on. You can also see our schedule, so you never miss one of our streams. And also, you can just get notifications as soon as we are live if you're following us. So that is great. And you cannot have that with LinkedIn and Twitter as easily. So go ahead. And that's it. I will see you then on Tuesday, 14 at 4 p.m. Eastern Time with Ben Stone to try Anypoint Code Builder for the first time as well. Yeah. Hey, Tony. All right. That's it for this stream then. See you on Tuesday.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye
That was cool.
bye.